Joining me now is former acting ICE Director Tom Homan. Tom, great to see you again. Thanks for being here. This is not partisan. I mean, it's important to say that there are a lot of Democrats along the border who are dealing with this situation who really feel betrayed by a federal government that is not doing what they're supposed to do. They're not guarding our borders.
Well, I think they're beginning to understand, which I hope a lot of Americans begin to understand, this just isn't an illegal migration issue anymore. When you bring this many people across the border illegally, that ties up 70 to 80% of Border Patrol agents are no longer on patrol. They're processing people. That leaves the border wide open and you got 70% of the agents off the line. That's when the fentanyl flows across that's killed 100,000 people. That's when the known suspected terrorists cross. That's when the gang members and the criminals cross. People are beginning to realize this humanitarian crisis that they created on purpose because of open borders has created a public health crisis, a public safety crisis, and a national security crisis. This is a big issue. So regardless of what their opinion is on illegal immigration, the problem is much worse than that now.
And I don't want to get too bogged down in statistics, but you gave us the October numbers that just came out, and they are extraordinary, particularly one that I want to focus on. But the Southwest border encounters for October, 209,000 Border Patrol apprehensions. Migrant deaths, very important figure. 27 migrants themselves died in various ways as a result of trying to come across the border. And that last number is extraordinary. The gotaways, the known gotaways, 86,000. Now, the average for fiscal year 2022 was 50,000 a month. 86,000. That's got to be some new record.
You know, and you're right, and that bothers me the most too. Because who are these people, right? We know the Border Patrol's since Joe Biden's taken the White House, they've arrested 114 known as suspected terrorists trying to cross this border. Since Joe Biden became president, they got over 1 million gotaways. Now, if they're going to continue this trend of 86,000 a month, that means this year we're looking at over 1 million in a single year, which is looking like, you know, by the time this year is over, 2 million people have entered this country legally, weren't arrested, weren't vetted, weren't fingerprinted. We don't know who they are or where they're from. We know Border Patrol's arrested people from 161 different countries. Some of these countries are sponsors of terrorism. If you don't think a single one of this million came from a country that sponsors terrorism, came here to do us harm, then you're ignoring the data. This is a scary number. 86,000 gotaways in 1 month. That just scared the hell out of every American.
Yeah, and there's so many unknowns there, as you were mentioning, about what the background of these people are. But the knowns, the known quantities, the human cost of the known quantities, we mentioned that number, 27 migrant deaths, well over 800, close to 900 migrant deaths since this is in the past year, I believe. It's an extraordinary number that we have. And then that doesn't count, of course, all the fentanyl overdoses, because the same smugglers that are bringing in people are bringing in drugs. It just adds up. The human cost to the nation of this, it's ironic that they used to finger point at the Trump administration about their inhumane immigration policies when the actual death numbers are far worse during this administration.
Absolutely. Since Joe Biden's been president, there's over 1,400 migrants have died on U.S. soil, way over 1,400. And I do this all the time. People want to attack the Trump administration, myself, saying we were inhumane. When Trump had the illegal immigration down 83% less people were coming across that border. How many women weren't being sexually assaulted by the cartels? How many aliens weren't dying? How many Americans didn't die of drug overdoses? How many billions of dollars did the cartels not make? How many known suspected terrorists didn't sneak in this country? President Trump's policies save lives. Joe Biden's policies are killing people by record numbers.
And of course, there's the financial costs as well. I mean, the food, water, shelter, medical costs are through the roof. And most of the states and the communities where this is happening have to foot the costs of that. They're not getting bailed out by the feds unless there's some kind of Democrat connection there with the White House. But I got to finally ask about the director of Department of Homeland Security, Mr. Mayorkas. I mean, he keeps saying under oath when he's testifying before Congress that the border is secure. Do you think that's an impeachable offense?
It absolutely is. He has the same numbers you and I have. He's the Secretary of Homeland Security. He knows no one suspected terrorists are crossing that border because Border Patrol is so overwhelmed. At what point does the Secretary of Homeland Security tell the White House, look, I'm the Secretary of Homeland Security. This is a huge national security issue. We got over 1,400 migrants have died. We got over 100,000 Americans that have died from drugs coming across that border. I can no longer support you, but he won't do it He's a coward, and he needs to be impeached. And Republicans need to step up and do it. As soon as they take back power, he needs to be impeached. He has defied his oath. This country is much less safe under his control.
Yeah, they're giving me a rap, but you know how fed up Americans were with all the impeachment that was going on during the Trump administration. I don't know if they have the stomach for a number, because Mayorkas is not the only cabinet member they've talked to about impeaching. Do you think they're going to have the backbone to follow through with that?
This isn't a political issue. This is national security, so they have to do it. If they're going to impeach Trump and making a phone call to Ukraine, why would you not impeach somebody who knowingly created this crisis, who put this country at great risk? This isn't a political issue. This is a national security issue. Right. It needs to happen.
Tom Homan, good to see you, Tom. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it.